All right. TV. Wonder if anything good's on. Right. Just under 3 minutes. Yeah, you're loud and clear here. $90. 90 seconds. Rolling your open in 1 minute. There went one cat. $20 from the open. Gonna roll it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a good show, and here we go.
Hey, y'all, this is Rodney Atkins, and you're listening to Rick's House. Everything you need to know about home improvement. Here comes Rick.
Open's running. You're live. Hey, Rick, good morning. Oh, yeah. Always. Well, you are on the air, wall to wall. Cats seem to have their own idea about the way things should be done, and they will unplug things that you think should be just fine plugged in. Yeah, they think that's fun. Well, if you get discombobulated, you've got to get recombobulated. I mean, that's just a fact. Right. Right. So you'd have some shade. Right. 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 Hey, Rick, on the single glass panes on those windows, because we talked last week about living aboard travel trailers and some of the adjustments you have to make when you're going to be living there more than just staying there on a vacation trip. And the single pane windows is one of the things you talked about because they provide less insulation. As anybody with double pane windows in their home knows, you get some insulation from that. And that's one of the big factors for RV living is the insulation factor. It's also the weight factor. That's probably the reason they don't have double pane windows is the weight, right? Right? Yeah. Right. Right. Oh, really? Oh, sure. I would think. Seems like that would be. Now, of course, they're trying to sell too there. Right. Huh. Right. So the metal, not the glass. Right. Sure. Okay. Right. Dewdrops everywhere. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not going to help much. Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, with somebody with experience such as you have, you've talked about using the blackout curtains because the heat builds. People don't think, you think about staying warm in your travel trailer more than anything, but staying cool is important as well. And you get in there with the sun beating straight down on a tin can like that, they can get hot in there in a hurry. Uh huh. Right. Okay. Sure. People that have done their residential windows will know about that because it's probably been shown to them how important that gap is, right? Okay. Sounds like you. Yeah. You're still monkeying with cat destruction over there. Yeah. Yeah. Now, and Rick's not destroying any cats. The cats have done the destroying. Rick's trying to get stuff fixed. Yes. Yes. They're well spoiled. We can tell.
Yes, they are. Um, Now, I hope you didn't get an echo when I just did that, did you?
No, you're sounding fine over here.
Okay, no echo. All right.
And folks listening in, Rick is coming to us from. You're still in the Big Bend region of Texas.
Still in the Big Bend region of Texas where it's very dark.
Yes.
And it is, but hopefully before the show ends, we will be able to give you a little bit of a view of what we see. The Big Bend region of Texas, but back to windows. Let me get back to that before I get discombobulated. I know you're shocked and appalled that I would jump from one rabbit to the next, but it happens. So all that being said, we used to do a thing. We had a presentation box, and in that presentation box, you remember, Jay, that now you and I, you're just a little bit older than me, not much.
Right.
But back in the 70s, we had a thing called an infrared lamp in the bathroom.
Yes. Yes.
And so when you wanted your bath fan to run, you'd slap that baby on.
Right.
And then when you wanted your to warm that bathroom up, you'd hit heat.
Right.
But heat was an infrared floodlight looking lamp
Right.
that probably used about half the month's worth of electricity,
Right.
but you got warm.
Yeah, it did warm up the bathroom. I remember as a little kid thinking that they were to give you a suntan, that was a tanning bulb.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was as a
That's
kid.
what it looks like. So all that being said, we used to take those infrared lights
Right.
and we had what was called an energy efficiency heat kit
Right. To demonstrate with.
So you had the light in a, like one of them clamp on lights like you put in a chicken coop.
Sure.
And then the infrared light was in there. And then 6 inches from that, you had a wooden thing you could slide glass in there. So you put a single piece of glass in there and you tell them, put your hand on the opposite side away from the lamp. You'd feel that heat coming through just like nobody's business.
Of course.
All right, then you put a piece of insulated glass in there, which was one piece of insulated glass, typically single strength, not double strength, and a 1/4-inch aluminum spacer, and then sealed, and then another piece of single glass in there. And you can put your hand on the other side of it, and you're still going to feel exactly the same. The progression of insulated glass goes open hole, sheet of plastic,
Right.
single glass, double glass. Not much difference between any of those, except the glass is rigid and don't rattle at you.
Right.
But as far as energy efficiency, you're not you ain't getting nothing there. That ain't happening. So that being said, then the next thing we did is we took that insulated glass and we showed you what happens when you increase that space. Now, all the energy efficiency that you'll ever get out of insulated glass, for the most part, and there's always exceptions, but in generalities, is up to 1 inch.
Okay.
After 1 inch, it really don't matter.
Okay.
It's insignificant. Now, huge difference. Not huge difference. A difference in a piece of 7/8 inches, what they do, or 3/4, or whatever the manufacturer wants to do. Insulated glass space in between the two.
Right.
Okay. That being said, now is where we get tricky.
Okay.
We begin to add soft or hard coatings of low E.
Of what?
Low E, low
Low
emissivity
E.
coatings.
Okay. And they're clear, right?
No, they have a slight tint to them,
Okay.
very slight,
Right.
different from tinting.
Okay.
Tinting can be bronze, gray, blue, whatever, and
Right.
has some sense of basically glare is what tinting's
Right.
doing for you, or privacy.
Sure. It's more for your being able to look out or not look in, as you
Right.
say.
Low emissivity, low E coatings are designed to reflect radiant heat,
Okay.
either back into the travel trailer, depending on the season or house, or out away from the travel trailer, depending on where the heat source is coming from. So if you're heating and it's hitting it, it's bouncing it back towards you. If
Right.
you're cooling and the sun's coming in, it's bouncing the sun back out.
Sure.
Now, that all depends on which surface do you put it on. Do you put it on the inside of the inside
Right.
pane of the glass? Do you put it on in between the glass? on the inside pane of glass? Do you put it on the opposite inside of the pane of glass or on the outside?
Is there a definitive answer, or does it depend?
It depends on what you're trying to achieve and what climate you're in.
Right.
Okay. Now we do one more thing and so there's all kinds of combination of that. And Hurd Window Company did this many years ago, and they came out with a suspended third piece of low emissivity hard, and by hard I mean a sheet.
Okay.
That was suspended in between those others, and they said that they could get like a value of R10. Well, the minimum acceptable value of insulation in your walls is typically R13.
Okay.
Okay. Your roof needs a minimum of R39.
Right.
Okay. Your attic spaces. So
sure.
We do one more thing. We add something. Yeah, man, welcome to my late 50s.
Well,
we add argon.
Argon in the space between.
Between. Now, argon is a dense gas that is completely clear. It is 6 times more dense than oxygen.
Okay.
Okay. So when you seal that glass in between those two panes, and we've talked about the different ways that you do that. One is we used to use a metal spacer that was rectangular shaped, and that was stupid because you put some butyl underneath it, and then the sun shines in and it hits that aluminum, and that aluminum starts bending like flexing, and it breaks the seal, and then it sucks air in, and then when it blows the air back out, because of hot and cold, it leaves all the minerals in there on your windows, and it looks like you spilt milk in there.
Oh, wow.
That's what causes that. So,
okay.
low E argon gas dissipates over time. Now, it takes, it's the 80-20 rule, kind of like it is on filling up a propane tank, which not everybody does that, but that's what you're supposed to do. So, they fill they pull a vacuum, they pull the air out, and they pull in the argon gas, and they can get about an 80% fill in there. What that means, Cat, I swear if you jump on my Roadmaster Pro, you will hear a loud scream, and you will be out to live with the coyotes.
That's not going to be pleasant.
It's not going to be pleasant. That's little Boho, short for Bohemian, otherwise known as Bandit, when he thinks he's going to jump up on my, I don't know what he's done, and as long as you can hear me and they can hear me anywhere else, I'm tickled there.
We still got you.
Still got you. So when that happens, over a period of 20 years, you'll lose anywhere from 15 to 75% of that gas.
Sure, and that's if the window stays sealed. That's the elements of the window.
It is, because the reason for it is the molecular structure of argon allows it to come through that butyl slowly.
Okay. Yeah.
Oxygen won't do it. The only way the air comes through there is if there's a breach, but you don't have to have a breach for the argon to dissipate. Now, what we did is we took that rectangular metal band, and we took the top off of it and made it U-shaped.
Oh.
And then we put the butyl in it. And now what happens is, and we put 3M tape down both sides like they use on the space shuttle.
Right.
Back in the day.
Right.
And we said, okay, it's going to move. We know it's going to move. You've got 2 pieces of glass that are rigid when they're on their edges. So it's not moving, but we know that's going to heat up and move. So let's let it move. And like we said last week, if you don't let a skyscraper move, if you don't let a bridge move, if you don't let anything that's spanning along that has a span in it and is subject to weather conditions, if you try to stop it from moving, it breaks.
Right.
So what you have to do is allow for the movement, and that's how we did away, for the most part, with the failed glass that, sometimes
Yeah.
fogs up. Now,
Yeah.
we also have a thing called thermal break aluminum windows, which means that in the in the aluminum window process,
Right.
they build an inside frame, they build an outside frame. Those two frames are connected with a very hard butyl material that bonds the outside to the inside, but also causes a non-transference from outside to inside because it can't go through. Much like digging a ditch around the fire so it don't jump from one side to the other.
Sure. A fire break.
Fire break, same difference. But the problem with that is although aluminum windows are very strong and have their purpose and will have their purpose for life, skyscrapers, big buildings, homes
Right.
in Florida where you need huge, window walls that open up so you can live outside when you have more money than sense. I'm sorry, more money than than the good Lord Jesus. That little boho's getting ready to be the bandit, and but anyway, but the simple thing for him is just throw a can of food down there and he'll eat till he passes out.
Right.
So they still have their place until
It's
you
sort of like
change.
having the right tool for the job, isn't it?
It is. My mother thinks, God bless her, I was fortunate in this world. I had my mom who adopted me and raised me and is my mother, and she's gone on to heaven. And then I had my mom who brought me into this world and chose to keep me, and who I met when I was 37 and is fantastic. And we have I'm very fortunate that she's still with us. She'll be 80 this year. So when I say mom, I say, I'm fortunate to I have two.
Yeah. Absolutely. Bonus.
So all that being said, I had no idea where I was going with that. But anyway, it's a matter of what exterior, at some point it doesn't make sense. In a travel trailer, there are certain materials that are not going to be sufficient in a travel trailer because it moves.
Right.
The other thing about that is cost. The
Sure.
third thing about that is if you look at most travel trailer windows, they have round corners.
Okay.
Now, that drives me crazy because it makes it difficult for anything you do. I don't think it has anything else other. They're going to say it's aerodynamics. I think it has to do with if you got to buy something or get a part, you got to get it from them because there's the only one that knows what that can make it.
Hey, yeah, they've got the rounded window frame.
Exactly. So hence we have the blackout shades, which they're opaque if you move them just a little, but if you move them a little bit more, then they're blackout.
Okay.
Now, these insulated blackout curtains from Wally World are fantastic. They're just absolutely greatest thing we ever did. So much so that we've been able to take the reflective foam 1-inch insulation that we had cut to put in the wintertime or in the summertime to put in our windows so we couldn't see out, just to reflect the heat out, to try to be able to control the interior temperature of what we're dealing with. We've been able to remove that now because we literally can shut the blinds and shut the insulated curtains and be done. So that's an increase for me. The sound was an issue because depending on where you are in a travel trailer park or a campground, my neighbor who's 12 feet from me don't want to hear me going, "Hey, your mama and them, good Saturday morning. Welcome into Rick's house. It's a dandy."
Right.
They're coming outside going, "What are you doing?" So that being said, fortunately, where we're located right now, our neighbor next door, we have the lot that we're on in this Big Bend area, and there's several cities here. So we've selected a place that lets us hit each city. There's
Right.
about 6 or 8 little cities, and each one of them has their own specific things. Some of them are about art. You take Marfa, for instance. Marfa has unexplained, don't know what causes is. Scientists can't tell you lights that are much like the Northern Lights, and they don't. And there's an observatory there, and you go up there and watch them.
Wow.
It's really unique, and they don't know what causes it. Now, whether they know what causes it and they just ain't telling to draw people in, I don't know. But they say that they do not know what causes it. Then you have the Big Bend National Park, which has the Rio Grande River running through it.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest, Jay. I haven't seen all parts of the Rio Grande. Okay. It's a pretty good size river.
Yeah.
But the parts of it I've seen, I'd call the Rio Grande Creek. Not creek. Creek.
Right.
I understand that this part of it is, you think about the Rio Grande, the Rio Grande. I'm thinking about, well, it's the Mississippi River we're talking about.
Grand means big, right?
Big. Yes. No. Not the parts of it I've seen.
Right.
I've got a picture of Amy walking through it less than knee deep.
Right.
And I promise you, Bigfoot could make 3 steps and be across it.
Yeah, in the Big Bend region in particular, the river is very shallow in that area, and yeah, people have waded back and forth across it many times.
Yes, and it has. Interestingly enough, I love to fish. I used to hunt when I was younger and didn't have these mobility issues and could do that. And hunting, I enjoyed the types of hunting. I didn't enjoy deer hunting. And I think it's mainly because the deer that we have at home, they eat a lot of acorns, and acorns are bitter. And so for me, the venison, until I found some of those folks who could really knew how to treat it,
Right.
I didn't prefer the taste of it. So
Yeah.
hence,
If you're not going to use it, you don't want to kill it.
if I'm killing it, and I told my boys when they were living, I said, if you kill it, you eating it. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Right.
eat it.
Right.
And if it ain't, if I know it ain't good, you're gonna eat it, and I'm gonna watch you. But that being said, like out west, mule deer
Yeah.
that we have out here in this part of the world, especially out in Oregon when we were out there,
Right.
man, they eat sage.
Oh, they're eating the spice rack.
They're eating the spice rack, baby. They ain't no acorns. They ain't
Oh,
nothing
man.
but mesquite trees and sage and some grass and some other things that they eat. Man, you ain't even got to season that sucker. He's ready to go.
Yeah, mesquite wood and sage grass. My goodness, that's pre-seasoned, isn't it?
That's pretty seasoned. That grind make some sausage. Don't even got to touch it.
Already smoked.
Ready to go. So when my friend out here brought me some of that to trade for my pork sausage that he with legs seasoning, which is the best sausage seasoning in the whole world if you buy it online at Amazon.
All right.
Because they're trying to feed me some kind of sausage that tastes like an old tough piece of ham.
Yeah.
I said, y'all don't know nothing. You don't know. You bless it. I said, bless your hearts. You ain't never eaten no breakfast. Come on over Saturday. We'll make breakfast.
There you go.
So I made some homemade. Went to the grocery outlet and got me some pork and run it through my grinder and hit it with that legs hot sausage seasoning. Come on. And then run it back through there again and patted that out and made some good old fashioned gravy. Flour gravy, terrible for you. Homemade
Nice.
lard biscuits, fried eggs and skillet fried potatoes. They all got them a little plate and they put just a little dab on this, little dab on that, little dab on that. I ain't say nothing. I just sit there.
Yeah.
First thing I heard was,
Uh,
Needless to say, they wasn't a crumb left. And
Yeah.
the topic of, and I ain't that good a cook. I'm pretty good cook, not that good. The topic of conversation was next. When we gonna do this again?
Yeah. How'd you make that?
If you ain't never ate nothing but a sausage link or some that sausage that tastes like, Canadian bacon, which ain't nothing wrong with Canadian bacon.
No, it's all right.
I started to blow their mind with some country ham and some red eye gravy, but I just didn't think hearts could stand it.
They weren't ready. Can't spring that on them first.
No, you throw that on them first, they couldn't handle it.
No.
You got to go easier than that.
Right. They're not ready for the volume of water they're going to need after that country ham.
No, they're not.
Good though. Oh, it's good.
Oh, it's good, my brother. I tell you what, that's one of the things. But I am surprised, there's such, and we talked about this last week, there's such an influence of Tennesseans in Texas that it really, if you want biscuits and gravy down here, you can get a cat head biscuit with some gravy.
Good deal. And huevos rancheros, as you told us.
Man,
Have you been back yet?
that's on the agenda for tomorrow morning.
I hear you.
I have been back, but I ate the chorizo and eggs together
Oh, yeah.
with the diced skillet potatoes and fresh coffee and a tortilla for sopping.
All right. Hey, that chorizo's got some spice going to you.
Yeah, it does. And it's premium chorizo too. It didn't have all the stuff they swept up off the floor.
Right.
It didn't have the, as my wife says, I ain't eating no organs. They wasn't no toenails in it. I'm just gonna go ahead and
Right.
tell you
Good
that.
stuff.
It was good stuff. Well, we've been jabbering. I think it's probably time we pay some bills. Would be my thoughts. What do you think, sir?
Might as well.
Let's go ahead and knock that out. And then when we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Got some ideas, some things I'm doing that I want to chat about, some new experiences, and we're going to talk about a few products that we keep with us, always ready for questions. And Jay, I don't know if we can take calls or not. I really don't know, but they can always call,
Right.
and you can ask me the question and I'll facilitate it. In the meantime, this will give me a chance to see if I can get the book face up and running for whatever the heathen cat has done to me.
Sounds good, Rick.
All right, it's a good Saturday morning, 2026. Don't get me started on football. It's just all I got to go. All I'm happy about is go Ole Miss.
Yeah, they got a chance.
Go Rebs, baby. That's who I'm pulling for. It's Rick's house, Saturday mornings. Brother Jay's in there making it happen. Hang on, youngins. We'll be right back.
You're out.
Thank you, brother. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. And for the life of me, I can't. It's one chord, and I don't know what it is. It's driving me out of my mind.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
Oh, I know
ball
what it
game.
is.
Back what you
Let me see right here. Advanced audio processing. This means minus, okay, TRS output, okay. On the there. We should select the Rodecaster Pro. Okay, let's do this. So line in, I know that's the way it's supposed to be. And you know what's crazy about it is I've got it wrote down.
We're to the point where we, when we get set up the way we need it, we'll take a picture of the board so that we know
Right.
the way we've had it figured or whatever we're doing.
See, y'all, in what I think has happened, and this is probably our issue. I use a TRRS cord to go from my Rodecaster Pro into my phone that I'm feeding the clean feed on.
Uh-huh.
And since I've done that, it's eliminated all the background noise, and I can hear you much better.
Good. So that's a win.
That's a win. So then I've got this little old chicken, as I call it, cord. It's the only one that I have that works, that feeds it into the line. In this new computer I got, they just leave stuff alone like it is. Don't try to make it better and screw it up, because then they'll have to have a meeting about the meeting, to talk about the meeting, to schedule the meeting.
You're right. I've been through it with Gear 2. Why don't you just leave it the way it was?
It worked great. We don't have to have the
especially when
latest and
something works
greatest.
well.
Exactly. So had all this hooked up yesterday, ready to roll, except for my computer. Well, I was sitting, because I use it when I'm sitting in my recliner. Well, I come in. I had to go outside and do something. And I come in. Well, evidently, the little cat, he's a good boy. He's just a kitten. You know, he's 3 months old, 4 months old.
Right.
He got up here and got behind my Rodecaster Pro and got tangled. And when he got tangled in that one cord, not my TRRS cord.
Right.
Well, I'd already in my mind said, you better order you another TRRS, tip ring.
Have a backup.
Have a backup. Or you, in case this other cord goes down, you might want to try that to feed to the book face to get a little better sound quality. Might make it easier.
Oh, I hear you.
Which I ordered. Well, he got up there and somehow got that cord wrapped around, and it's about an 8-foot cord. Got it wrapped around, got it caught on his toenail up between his toes, jerked it out of the Rodecaster Pro, scared him to death. He's going across the furniture, dragging it through the kitchen, pulled my splitter out, and Amy's laughing her tail off, and I'm like, well, my other TRRS cord was supposed to be here tomorrow, yesterday from Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, the office closes at 4.
Ah.
And we have a mailbox down there. But they don't have keys to the mailbox. It has to go in the office.
Right. You got to be able to get in the office to get to the mailbox.
Right. No, my mailbox is outside, but the people in the office have to put it in from the inside of the office, because the postman and the Amazon guy and all that.
Oh, I got you.
And they won't bring it to my lot.
Right. They'll only bring it to the building.
Only to the main building.
Yeah.
Well, office closed at 4. They got here at 5:20.
Sure.
Which means they left it on the truck and they'll come back out today. Well, that don't do shit for me.
Right. You're stuck.
I'm stuck. So now I've put it in there, and I don't think it's reading it. I think when he did that, he's cut that.
Maybe.
He's cut that.
You know, Cat's got a Swiss Army knife claw.
You know that's right. Dang, Brian's running me crazy here. He asked me about the call-in number all the time. And I've told him, here's the call-in number. And I'm about to tell him, if you don't write this down, I ain't never giving it to you again.
We're coming down on about 30 seconds.
And he may very well call you. His name's Brian Ekdahl. He lives in Lacey, Washington, South Olympia. And he's been listening to us and watching us for years. Ever since probably 10 years now.
Good deal.
He's a nice enough guy.
All right, here we go.
Yes, sir.
Every Saturday morning. Lord, it must be a big old bed. You are listening to Rick's House.
You're live.
All right. Good Saturday morning to you. Hey, y'all. How you mama them? 2026. Starting to see just a little dash, just a tiny little dash of sunlight coming across the Davis Mountains, Davis Mountain Range. Now, we've got 4 or 5 different ranges of mountains out here. Now, this is what they call mountains in this part of the world, Jay.
Right.
We are at about 4,700 feet above sea level, just on the flatland.
Well, you're up there pretty good then.
Yeah. So we're right, 5,000 feet is considered high desert. So we're just right at that high desert, which is what helps me to feel better, breathe better, not hurt as bad, all those kinds of things. Hence the reason I'm here.
Sure.
Plus all the things they are to explore. But I'm just starting to see, I'm seeing some of the most beautiful sunsets.
Yeah.
And sunrises that are just phenomenal. I did find my other camera. So one of the projects coming up on the program will be to hopefully by next week have the additional camera posted to show what we see outside.
Oh, great. Yeah, that'd be nice, especially about this time of the morning.
At this time in the morning, so you guys can really get a feel for that. Now, I watched Channel 10 News this morning for a little bit to get caught up on what's going on back home. But it looks like not too bad at home, Jay.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice. We had a fairly mild New Year's Day, and we've got a chance of rain in the forecast today, cloud cover, but maybe getting up into the 40s and 50s as the day goes on. And we've got a warming trend coming this way. So yeah, it's been
That'll be nice.
Not much of a shot for a white Christmas this year, we didn't think, and it didn't happen. It was pretty mild on Christmas.
It was here. Honestly, I enjoyed that. I really did. I enjoyed that. The cold weather bothers me with my neuropathy and all my other things that I have that and I know I talk about that a lot, and I want my listening audience and our listening audience to know I'm not fussing about it, because I ain't got nothing that's going to kill me, but it does debilitate me.
Right. And part of what leads you to be broadcasting from where you're broadcasting from, as you say, being in the high desert, you're just about 2,000 feet below what the high mountains are here, because Mount LeConte, in Clingman's Dome, as it was known, Holly now, is at 6,600 feet. So you're not that far below that elevation out there in the high desert.
Well, I knew it was pretty close, but I wasn't sure exactly how close it was. But I knew we were pretty close to that. And now, truth be known, in all honesty, when you first reach, as you very well know, if you've done any hiking up there,
yeah,
it takes a little bit to get used to that, to the thinness of the air.
Oh yeah,
it really does. Now, for me, now that I've gotten used to it, it just, of course, there's a whole new set of allergies and allergens
right.
that we have to deal with.
Absolutely.
Amy's been taking some pictures, and I've got some pictures that now that we're kind of getting situated where we can function. There's so much I want to show our listening audience, and so much I want to think about. There's a local RV guy, and I want to put this out here too. My neighbor, I was saying this earlier, but I forgot it. So there's about 100 campsites in this particular place where we are. But there's also so much dispersed camping. You got Bureau of Land Management areas.
Right.
You got just park areas. We were looking for we have a way to set up each of our vehicles so that, for day trips and things like that. And even I'm working on something on my truck for an overnight trip.
Okay.
If I want to go fishing,
Oh, I hear you.
Now the Rio Grande has some decent fishing in the park in a couple places, bass, catfish, most of you panfish.
Right.
But the rest of the Rio Grande, it's minnow-sized stuff. But in these areas where the water's deeper and so forth, they have some good fishing. Well,
Right.
we got to looking at with the national parks. You think about, well, Big Bend's a national park,
Right.
and you can only stay, depending on where you are in there. Sometimes you can, in dispersed camping, you're only allowed to stay one night. Sometimes you can stay
Right.
up to 14 nights. Just
And
depending
when
on
you're talking about dispersed camping, for folks that don't realize, that's not a campsite. That's where you are fully self-contained and you just pick a spot and camp, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't bring it with you, you ain't gonna have it.
And you need to take it out if you bring it
And
in.
if you bring it in, take it out, and that don't mean bury it in the ground.
True.
They will lose their mind over that. But I have determined, and I'll tell you something else and this is something that we did. Traveling and using and hunting dump stations and trying to keep from all the things that happen with black tanks and all that stuff. Especially if you're traveling and not toting this. I looked it up last night. We are 60. Let's see. My truck is 18 feet long. The camper is 40 foot 1 inch. So that makes us 58. And then I've got another 3 feet on the back for generators and all those kinds of things. So the legal limit's 65. So we're 63 feet or so.
Right. Close to the length of an 18-wheel.
Close to the length of an 18-wheeler. But one of the things that we've done is utilize composting toilets.
Good idea.
The simple way to do that, and I'm gonna keep this where it's not gonna gross somebody out or something, because it's really not. There's nothing gross about it.
Got to be something to take care of too. If you're going to have a liveaboard situation like that, you're going to have a method for taking care of this stuff.
Right. Now, where we are now, we have full, we've got gas, we've got
Hooked up.
electric, we've got full hookups, we've got sewer, we've got, all that stuff. We even
Nice.
have, this campground has a RV washing station.
Oh, nice.
We had a dust storm yesterday.
Yeah.
Couldn't even see the mountains.
Yeah.
Wind wasn't too bad, about 30, 35 miles an hour. But all the
Wow.
desert dust, I mean, literally, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face.
Yeah. It just lifts it up into the air.
It just lifts it up in the air, and it went on for about an hour or so, and then it calmed down. Then you look around and you look, my goodness, am I in Mad Max Thunderdome?
Right.
So, but we have a washing station, so you can wash your vehicle over there, and because the campground's on a well, and then they have a special setup for, if everybody was washing their vehicles it could cause the well issues. So
Sure.
they have a separate thing that you pay for, doing, cleaning up or what have you.
Gotcha.
But where I'm at right now, my neighbor next door, who is a civil engineer, who's
Nice.
developing some land in a little town called Terlingua. Terlingua was a ghost town for a long, long time. And the developers have said, oh, you can buy 20 acres for $10,000 with $500 down, and the owners will finance it for 3 years. Now, some of it will have power at the road, but you still have to deal with well. You still have to deal with sewer, which sewer's a non-issue in the desert because, what works better in drain field, what works better in sand. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's a
That's a
natural
given.
filter.
But the well could be some cost, and if the power's there. And so there's a lot of development going on down there. That's going to be a day trip that we're getting ready to take here shortly.
Okay.
So I was chatting with him, and he's actually selling his travel trailer to move up. he said, I've been living in this thing for 4 years. He's a developer, and he said it's just him. He said,
Right.
but he said it's 28 feet, and I feel like I'm in a box.
Right.
So they come and got it yesterday. So now I can't see. The closest travel trailer to me is 4 lots down
Oh, wow.
on one side and 2 lots over on the other side, which is the end of the property line that goes to the base of the mountain. And they're only here. They're really nice, but they're from Austin. So they're only here about once every month.
Right.
Retired, just kind of vacation. So
Yeah.
basically, I'm sitting, with full everything in the midst of beauty. It's just so far to everything, Jay. It's just the Dollar General store market is 0.2 of a mile. I mean, I just can't hardly make it down there.
Oh,
The hospital is 1/10 of a mile.
wow.
We actually have a Radio Shack. Did I tell you that?
Wow. Yeah, I want to say Radio Shack was born in Texas. So there are more probably remaining Radio Shacks there maybe than anywhere else.
It's in the True Value. It's in the True Value hardware store.
Okay.
Now I've
Yeah,
got
I bet
my
they got some
GFL.
wires and plugs and stuff.
Oh yeah, I got my GFL. Yeah, I could have run down there and seen if they had a TRRS like we were talking about, but
Maybe.
But I've got my GFL hat on today. And this is something that they do. And I called Dean and talked to him about this. Dean Keys, GFL does a great job for us. Green for Life. That's a trash service. They don't have convenience centers here. Like we talk about going to the dump.
Sure.
They don't do that here.
Okay. How they handle it?
So I'm in the campground the other day. We've got some trash that needs to be hauled off. And so I throw it up in the back of the truck. I'm going down to the dumpsters, and they're all full because the campground was about full. So I
Okay.
thought, well, I had remembered, and Amy had brought to my attention, I had remembered that, you're just driving down the road, any of the roads in town, and even not in town, and you'll see a little pull off, and there'll be 2 dumpsters there.
Okay.
Now, these dumpsters have hooks on the front of them, and I called Dean Keys and asked him about it. And those hooks are designed for the truck like we have. They don't scoop in on the front, pick it up, and dump it over the front back in the back of the trailer, right? It pulls up beside it like it does those small trash cans, where they can just run up beside it and it flips it
Sure.
up in there. And it pulls this dumpster up and dumps it. Well, they're everywhere. I bet there's 100 of them.
Wow.
So if you're going down the road, you just pick you one that you like and you pull over and you throw it in there. I
you go.
literally from my truck or from the Outback, we have an Outback, Subaru Outback. If I've got it sitting in the front seat, I can roll down the window, pull up next to it, open the top, and throw it in there and never get out of the car.
Oh, nice.
Now, Dean's comment to me was, he said, yeah, there's some places that do that. He said, I bet you don't see any trash anywhere, do you? I said, no, you don't. There's no trash on the road. People don't throw stuff out. It's just too easy.
Well, that's nice.
So I just went down
We
the
still
road.
see some around here.
It would help. I ain't saying do away with convenience centers. That's great. Now you say,
Right.
well, Rick, what do you do if you have furniture or stuff like
Bigger
that? Well,
stuff.
twice a month you call them and they come get it.
Oh, neat. Not bad. Pretty good service.
Pretty good service. You ain't got to go nowhere. They come get it up to 5 items.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
Now, one thing I have noticed in my travels out west, you talked about doing a day trip to some of the other places.
Uh-huh.
It's nice to have conveniences like stores and hospitals as close as you've got them. But when you start going from town to town in the western U.S., there can be some stretches of road out there to travel.
That is an outstanding point. I carry with me when we're traveling with the big trailer. I have 6 5.5 gallon jugs that are full of fuel at all times,
Oh, wow. Just in case.
just in case. That's in case we need to, something happens and I need to run the
Right.
generator
Right.
to power a power tool. to sit and wait on Good Sam's roadside assistance in the air conditioning, watching some kind of television show instead
There
of
you
sitting
go.
out there burning up.
There you go.
And yes, you're correct. You have to be careful because there is no gas. There are no people.
Right.
And I don't know if you watched the series Landman with Billy Bob Thornton and all that. If you
I have seen a couple episodes.
okay, if you notice on those trucks, they have this little thing sticking up that looks like a microphone on the back of it. It's a little short. They all got them. If you look at all those trucks, they've got it's got a metal bar sticking up, and then it's got like an antenna on it, like a
Okay.
microphone. Looks like a little microphone. Have you
All
noticed that?
I haven't. I've only watched a couple of episodes of that.
That's a cell boost antenna.
So they can get a signal.
So you can get a signal because there's many places you just don't have a signal.
Right. The cellular service is based on line of sight. You can just be out of line of sight on something.
Right. And so that's that's an issue. And that's a great point. Preparation is the key.
True.
If you prepare, there's really not much you can't be prepared for. It may be an inconvenience. It may be, and I don't know if we got into this last week or not. We talked a lot about the dangers of propane, and
Sure.
did we talk much? I didn't have time to go into the alternative heating sources, did I?
Well, we did talk a little bit about them, but you said for a lot of people in a camper situation, propane has been one of the go-to. But we didn't talk a lot about alternatives.
Now, we talked a little bit about the dangers of running space heaters on your existing power lines within your trailer. Let's say that most of
Right.
the wire in your camper is 14 gauge.
Yeah.
And you say, well, Rick, 14 gauge runs in houses. Yeah, it does. It shouldn't.
Right.
It ought to be 12 minimum.
Yep.
As it used to be.
That's what I pulled from my father.
Absolutely. You say, well, technically, and I'm going. I am not an electrician. I am not a certified electrician. My dad was an electrician. He said, "Son, find another career. You suck at it." So I'm not going to pretend that but here's what I've learned from some, and especially from a particular friend of mine who's been doing it 55 years. When I have an electrical question, I call and ask him because he knows.
Good
Period.
to know somebody.
Oh, he knows. End of subject. He knows. So I call and ask him. Technically, space heaters, they're 1,500 watts. I don't care if they're big as a school lunchbox. Most of them are 1,500 watts. Now, some have the option to run 750 or 1,500. Well, 1,500 watts takes a 20 amp circuit.
Right. All to itself, pretty much, right?
Correct. Well, you can run it on a 15 amp circuit, but not really. You're not supposed to.
Right.
Okay. If you take, and we talked about this last week, if you take the circuits in your RV, your travel trailer, or your recreational vehicle, whatever kind it is, and if you look at the infrared heaters that are provided for that vehicle,
Right.
they're 1,275 max.
To keep that amperage load down on that breaker.
Correct. So we utilize, I have run separate circuits. I've run some 15 amp circuits and I've run a 20 amp circuit that are dedicated for certain things.
Good ideas.
My 110 dryer, for instance,
Right.
I have a 3-way plug that has my 110 dryer plugged into it. My 110 dryer, Amy's 110 dryer.
Right.
It also has a heater plugged into it that's 750 watts or 1500,
Mhm.
and it has an air fryer plugged into it.
All heat units, and any heat unit's going to make a pretty good draw on that on the amperage on that breaker.
Now they operate only one at a time. Period. End of story. Never. And that's a GFI, ground fault interrupter breaker.
Okay.
So that way we don't wake up on fire with smoke coming out of our ears. That ain't gonna happen. Now, not that we don't, and we don't run the heater we will, but you don't run anything when you're not watching it anyway.
Sure.
Except for the heater, and that's really pretty easy to do.
Right.
Other than that, and I didn't finish my. I'm terrible about finishing my thoughts because I have so much I want to say. I got to get my words out, Jay. Got to get my words out.
Work on them. Just keep working.
We were talking about traveling. When we travel, we don't utilize our black tank unless it's a quick emergency and you don't have time for the other setup. Then of course we will. And a lot of people will throw ice in their black tanks when they're traveling, and while that ice is melting, it's sloshing around. I use a product called Unique, and it's a biodegradable product, and they have about 6 different ones. And I promise you, if you've purchased an RV and it's got dried solids in it in your black tank, if you fill that tank up with water and pour that in there and leave it in there for 72 hours plus, it will eat it.
Impressive.
And it's all natural.
Nice. So you leave it in there for 72 hours and then do a flush of your black tank, and it comes your black tank comes clean that way.
Yes, takes a couple 3 flushes.
Sure, makes sense.
To get that done. But yes, it will. Great product. There's also a good product called Happy Camper.
Right.
And I don't know if you've seen. There's a guy on YouTube, and his name is Matt, and he works at an RV dealership in Florida. And he's very animated, and he's probably about the best RV salesman I've ever seen, because he don't pull any punches about it. If he tells you what he likes and what he don't like.
Oh, good. I like that.
I like that. So you can make a decision about, and he's constantly doing that. I'll have to look him up and post it on the show. I've never talked to him, don't know nothing about him. But anyway, he has recently come out with a product that called Liquify. That he and some engineers and some people from places who are smarter than I ever was or ever will be come up with this product that's guaranteed to liquefy all the solids in your tank.
And not hurt your tank.
And not hurt your tank, nor hurt what you dump it into.
Oh, all good.
All good. Now, I told you about RV antifreeze, didn't I?
Yes.
It will gel.
Oh.
It will freeze. The difference between it is that it will not expand.
Okay.
Okay?
So that could lead to a crack in something.
Exactly. Because that's what happens. When it freezes, it expands, cracks it, and then when it unfreezes, it contracts, and now you got busted pipes.
Now you got a mess.
And you got a mess. My new project, we decided, and I told you this last week, we decided that after 1 month on the road that we were not going to go to laundromats.
Right.
That sucks. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. That just is not, that ain't working for me. You know what I mean? That is.
Well, and you had the room to do something, but and because you know your stuff, you were able to do a renovation on your camper to allow for a washer and dryer install.
I did. I don't know how much that knowing my stuff had to do with it, but I did. So I've installed the dryer, got it set up. I have vented it through the floor of my slide.
Okay.
And I have done it in a way that if my slide needs to come in, it can still come in without scratching the floor.
Well, it's impressive.
Now, they make these things called slide slips.
Okay.
Have you seen this?
I have not.
A slide slip is a product that's basically looks like a fan blade, a ceiling fan blade, if you can imagine that.
Yeah, paddle.
It's like a paddle. And you can get them in different lengths. Mine are about 42 inches long.
All right.
And they have it's almost like a car ramp. It goes over and then it bends down on either end so that
Okay.
you shove these underneath your slide, depending on the size of your slide. My 6-foot slides, I use 3. My 8-foot slide, I use 4.
Okay.
So you slide those under there. They have a rubber bottom on them. So when the slide comes in, and they're a hard plastic, really slick surface on the top.
Okay.
So the slide jumps up on that and slides in on top of it so that it doesn't scratch your floor.
Just glides right over it.
Glides right over. Easier on the slide, easy on the floor. Now, they are not cheap.
Of course.
Right. Because they know you got to have them and they sock it to you.
Well, but something that's worth having is usually worth having, even if you got to bite the bullet on the price.
That's exactly right. And so, but they also have a grommet in them so that you can wipe them down, hang them on a hook, and let them, and that keeps them straight.
Good.
So that's something we utilize. Now that the project this week is, and I'm going to talk about it next week, is I needed to figure out, we have a portable washing machine
Okay.
that I put on a rolling dolly that I purchased at Amazon, and the dryer was on
Okay.
it too, so we could move them around
Right. Put them where you needed them when you needed them.
when I needed them, and then put them out of the way when I didn't need them. Now that we took
Right.
the dinette out, the dryer is permanent. I can move it if I have to, but it's permanent.
Right.
The project now is the washer.
And is it the washer and its ability to drain, or is it just where the washer needs to sit?
It's where it needs to sit. It's where its ability to drain is, because the way it sets up, it's like an apartment washer.
Okay.
You pull it over to the kitchen sink. It's got an adapter. It's a quick adapter. It pops on the kitchen sink. That gives you your water.
Right.
Then you have a drain hose that you would normally put in a shower box,
Right.
and that drains out, which drains out of your sink. And it works beautifully.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I bought it on Amazon after I told Amy, I said, pick what you want, because I don't know about washers and dryers.
Right.
So she said, I've narrowed it to these 3 now, and she gave me wisdom here. And one of the few times I listened, as I get older, I learned to listen more.
Good idea.
She said, I said, well, you just tell me which one you want. She said, no, I don't know anything about them mechanically. I don't know about the warranties. I don't know about what is required to maintain them. I don't know about those things. I said, well, I don't either. She said, well, here's how you learn. I said, okay. She said, Google each one of them and read the reviews. And don't
Yep.
read what the men say, read what the ladies say.
Smart move.
So I did that. And the dryer that the washer that we purchased, women loved it. It had like 7,000 reviews,
Okay.
and they absolutely loved it. But the dryer they made, they hated it.
Uh-huh.
So we have a washing machine made by one company, and we have a dryer made by a company called Panda.
Nothing wrong with that.
Panda is made by Hot Point.
Okay. That's
Okay,
a name we know.
name we know. So now that this is in the slide, The dilemma is to figure out how to get hot and cold water to it.
Right. Don't have to. So you wouldn't have to do the sink hookup, right?
Right. Because when
Makes
it's
sense.
hooked up in the sink, that impedes you washing dishes. It's in the way if you're cooking. It causes a lot of problems. So when you set up to wash clothes, you got something in the way,
Sure.
you know? So I've been thinking about that for about a month. So my first thought was, well, we have low point drains. Every RV has low point drains, with the
Sure.
exception of a few.
Okay.
I thought, well, why don't I just connect to the low point drain,
Right.
run the water over, bring it up through the floor, make a disconnect there with a shark bite fitting. So if I have to run the slide in, it's not in the way,
Okay.
and I'll be done. Then I called my plumber, Will at All Clear Plumbing,
There you go.
who's fantastic. Will is the guy who came to the radio station and fixed the overflow valve running over on the HVAC in the basement.
Bless him.
I just happened to know that was a problem you were having to deal with.
Yes.
So I called him and I said, hey, can I do that? He said, no. I said, why?
Right.
He said, because that's not a pressurized line.
Ah.
He said, now you can add a sink on it if you just want to work off gravity, you know,
Right. Gravity
But-
flow.
but it's not going to, when you turn that washer on, it's not going to pull water through that hose. That ain't going to happen.
Right. Right. You're not going to fill your tank and your washer very quick.
Right. It's going to take forever. He said, so you don't want to do that. I said, okay. I said, well, let me think about that.
Right.
He said, he said, I'll tell you this. I said, I don't want you to tell me how to fix it. I want to figure it out.
Right.
But I want you to tell me, I'm going to run it past you before I do it to see if it's stupid.
Right. Right.
He said, okay. He said, I will tell you this. He said, you've got to find a pressurized hot water line and a pressurized cold water line.
Yeah, because you're going to need both for your washer.
Right. Because some things need to be, Ricky's clothes need to be washed in hot because Ricky gets dirty.
There you go.
He's a man of a certain size. Even though he's lost 200 pounds, he's still a man of a certain size.
Right.
It needs a little extra kick to clean me.
Right.
So I've been thinking about it. Well, PEX comes, and that's what I want to use because it's durable, except for the drain line.
Okay.
So I got to thinking about it. I thought, well, my gray water valve, my black water valve, where it connects and goes out to the sewer, is in between my slide where the dining room was, where my washer and dryer are now, air
Mhm.
fryer and so forth, and the slide in the living room that used to be a couch that now holds a dresser for storage and all the kitchen utensils that are too big to put on the countertop,
Gotcha.
and the meat grinder and all those things that you have no place to sit.
Right. Right. Because space, even in a big travel trailer like you guys have, big one that you guys are in, there's still space concerns that you've got to deal with.
Have you seen our travel trailer?
I've not in person, no, but I've seen something of similar size, and that's
Well-
quite a bit of room for a travel trailer, but it's not like you got
It's still a trailer.
exactly.
If you go to Rick's House Radio Show on the road, you will see that my cover picture is a picture of our rig with my truck in a Walmart parking lot boondocking. And you can get
Right.
a feel for it.
Gotcha.
So it occurred to me that outside I have a outside shower.
Nice. I like those.
Oh, outside shower is fantastic. My wife does take
Yeah,
an
it is.
outside shower. She loves it. And I like it if it's set up right.
Of course.
But anyway, so it occurred to me that I have my water heater there, which is a on-demand hot water heater. If you do not have one of those in your travel trailer, put one in today.
Yeah. People like those.
Oh, it's all the difference in the world. 6 gallons ain't gonna get it. Now we used ours and suffered through until it quit 1 month after it went out of warranty, of course.
Ouch.
And then I looked at the cost of replacing it. It was about $200 more to go ahead and put the on-demand hot water heater in there.
Done.
Done deal. Called my friends over at Weekend RV Center. Can y'all put this in for me? Yep, bring her down. Best move I ever made. Because you got hot water. As long as you got water and you got propane, you got hot water. And
Right.
they uses very little propane.
Yeah, because it doesn't heat it. It heats it right there as it's coming across. It comes.
Right.
It doesn't worry about keeping it hot like a tank hot water heater does.
Exactly. So it's efficient. You're not using electricity. Which, if you're at a park where you don't pay for your electricity, then that don't really matter. But most parks, you have to pay for your electricity unless you're just there for an overnight.
Interesting. Okay.
If
Good to
you're
know.
on a monthly stay, you're going to pay for your electricity. They read the meter. They read my meter yesterday. I'll get a bill
Okay.
for my monthly rent and my electric.
Okay.
Water and sewers included. Well, you say, Rick, what does that cost? Well, my rent's $425 a month for trash, 20 cable channels, Wi-Fi, water, and sewer,
And the space.
and the space. Fantastic outdoor swimming pool,
Nice.
kids area, community kitchen for get-togethers, walking track, and as the Progressive commercial says, it's a dog park.
I gotta have one.
Have you seen that commercial?
Oh yeah, I like Mara. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the dog park. People you
Yeah.
don't know, it's the dog park.
Really good actors in those commercials.
Fantastic
Really good
commercial.
actors. They do a great job.
Well, beside my continuous hot water heater is my outdoor shower box.
Right.
I said, oh, there's hot and cold water there,
Pressurized.
pressurized. 6 feet from where my washer needs to be.
Not bad.
Not bad. So the next project that may even happen today, but it'll probably be tomorrow because I got to get the rest of my tools out and put them back underneath the store in my storage bins, underneath my travel trailer because I don't have a building. And I don't know how I'm going to be at this particular place. So I will come off the back side of my outdoor shower, which with a T, which allows my outdoor shower to continue to run.
Right.
And I'll feed hot water and cold water over to a washer box that would normally mount in the wall, but we're not mounting it in the wall because then you have to access the wall and pull the paneling off and do all that, run your lines
Right.
down, and then you got to go through a steel frame underneath, and we're not doing that. We're
Well,
going to mount
it's
it.
different from putting a washer box in a house as opposed to putting a washer box in an RV.
Correct. So we're going to run it room side so the pipes stay warm.
Smart.
We'll insulate them under the floor. There'll be a quick disconnect in case the slide needs to come in for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll still have outdoor shower. But now the washing
How to make
machine,
all that work's pretty clever.
I asked lots of questions
That's a good idea.
from people who
Like
know.
you say, you don't want to have to back up and do it over.
Well, once you've drilled a hole, you've drilled a hole.
Right. Can't undrill it, right?
Can't undrill it. Ain't gonna happen, Captain. So that's the next project, and then we'll have that set, and so then we don't have to worry about it. So instead of having to say, "Okay, it's washing day, let's wash everything in the house,"
Right.
and get it
Move
all done
everything around.
because we've had to move it and pull it and tug on it.
Right.
And
Right.
don't matter. You need to wash your load, throw it in there, wash your load while you're doing whatever you're doing.
Right. Which is what you want, and that's the difference between if you were using the travel trailer once a month, like your neighbors are, or using it every day. If you're living in it every day, if you're living in it every day, you need that set up. So if you need to use the washer that day, you can use it.
Right. And the other side of that is that now I'm not worried about if we need to run get lunch or go to the store. I'm not worried about that washing machine running while I'm gone.
Right.
Now,
Coming back to a flood,
and come back to 50,000 gallons of water, in the house.
Woo. Not good.
Now you say, Rick, how much water? And we'll take a time out here shortly because I'm sure we've got several to get in. You say, well, what's the gravity flow on water lines? How many gallons per minute do you need? First of all, I needed to look at the washing machine and see what was required,
Right.
so that I get the appropriate size line.
Right.
Second of all, I was just curious. A half-inch line provides for you 40 gallons per minute of water
Wow. On just gravity flow.
on pressure flow.
On pressure flow. Okay. Makes sense.
So when you turn your faucet on and you've got a half-inch line, it in a minute, it can do up to 40 gallons of water.
Seems like a lot.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
If you go to a 3/4 inch, it can bring you 45 gallons per minute.
Okay.
So just a little to coincide with the appliance that you're using to make sure it gets enough, because if it's having to draw and pull hard, then you're burning out your pump,
Right.
which is a whole nother nightmare.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the next project. So that we have that done. Now, in talking about alternative heat, we're going to take a time out and catch up a little bit on that, because I have drank all the coffee
Me too.
in my gigantic oversized mug that says, pro tip, don't paint yourself into a corner unless you have snacks. Ace Hardware.
Good God.
So let's do that. We'll hear from some of those folks that graciously allow me to do this on Saturday mornings. And for those of you on the book face, I know you see me and I know you ain't hearing me. You can blame Bohemian, also known as the Bohemian Bandit, or Bandit for short, when he's been ugly, because he's tore my cord up. So no volume today for the book face.
Sorry, folks.
But you know what? We'll have volume next week, because Amazon came yesterday after the office was closed. So we're going to take a time out. Jay does an outstanding job and creates a great conversation. We hope you're enjoying it. We put that number out there. What is it, Jay? 865-932-7449.
You got it.
And if I can't hear you, he'll relay that question to me. We're going to talk about diesel heaters. Ooh,
Okay.
diesel heaters. Say it ain't so. I'm going to tell you about that coming up. It's Rick's house. It's Saturday morning. Oh, the sunshine is coming up. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And I promise you, they got dove down here on this power line across that I'm looking out the window. If I had a BB gun, I ain't starving to death. They would be squab on the menu. Groceries get low, we'll hit some squab. It's Rick's house. We'll be back, y'all. Hang on.
You're out.
That moho's back here looking out the window like he owns the place. Heard. All right, I'm going to get me some coffee, brother. You go get you some.
Gonna do it. All right. I'll see you in a minute.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. Let me
We're back in 30.
I'm back, brother.
All right, we've got about 30 seconds and a couple of legal IDs to run.
Okay.
I've got one of the travel trailer. Looks good.
It's a pretty good sized travel trailer.
It is indeed. All right, ID number one's running now. ID number two's running now. Here we go.
Kix Brooks, and you are listening to Rick's House. Everything you need to know about home improvement. Here comes Rick.
Live.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome back to Rick's House. Thanks for joining us on the program. Brother Jay and I took a much needed time out. Yes. For the relief and then then the introduction of more coffee.
That's right. Recaffeinate.
Recaffeinate, my brother. You had a chance to look at the video or the picture that I sent you of said travel trailer.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a little picture of our neighbors down the road
All right.
for your enjoyment. And this is something that I only see this out west, and I don't know why I see this out west. It's let's see if I can get the rest of them in there. Let's see. It's really cool, and it happens a lot. And I'll send it to you, and then we'll talk about it. Before the timeout, we were talking about diesel heat. I did not realize, I have a friend of mine that I've known since the 7th grade, and he and his family own Thermo King of Knoxville.
Okay.
And they do a lot of things. They do. Get down from there. Bound and determined to come across the Rick's House radio show radio equipment.
Rick, I thought of you. A video went drifting by me on one of the social media platforms the other day of the things that cats will do to wreck your world. And they had, people that were leaned over in the back of their hatchback vehicle, and the cat's on top of the car, and it jumps on the lid and closes the hatchback on the human.
Oh,
all that sort of stuff, just wreaking havoc.
Bless him. He that's what you say in Easton. You say bless him.
It's just how God made them.
It is, or the devil been them. I'm not quite sure which one of those things are. Could be either.
You might be right.
Did you get the couple photographs that I sent you?
I did. Your neighbors look delicious.
Yes, they do, don't they?
Yeah. You were talking about deer earlier, and those western deer you see out there. There's some hunters around here like to be in a tree stand sitting on top of your RV.
I mean, we're coming back from the dollar store, and Amy goes, "Are those real?" And I stopped because there's no traffic, and there's a whole family of deer. There's like, I sent you, and that's a big buck. He's about an 8-pointer.
Oh yeah.
And then mama, and then of course the babies, and he's just walking around like, he knows he's safe. There ain't nobody gonna bother him in the city. This is in the city.
It's amazing.
I've got some of them running across the college. It's just they're everywhere.
Right. You guys are located near a small college that's out there in that town.
We are in this particular town. One of the towns that we're near is Sul Ross University,
right,
which is the home and had the very first college rodeo team in the country, and hold many world championships.
I'd say they do.
And they've also went from D3 last year to D2 in athletics. Of course, they didn't do very well, but they went to
Moving
D2.
on up, though.
Yeah, they went to D2 so they can recruit. The Sul Ross Lobos.
The Lobos, the Wolves. I like it.
Yeah. Now my cat is trying to destroy the plastic tab that pulls the screen down.
Of
For the
course.
shade. And then looking at me like, what are you going to do about it?
That's right.
I'm going to throw you in the
I'm boss
dog
around
park
Ooh.
and lock the gate.
That'd be a show.
Be a show. So diesel heaters, let's talk a little about that.
Yeah, you mentioned that going into the break.
There are several companies out there that make a diesel heater. Diesel will run an 8,000 BTU diesel heater will run, and this is something that's not only that people not only use in travel trailers, they're also used in tractor trailers for heat.
Okay.
And something I didn't realize is, these big refrigeration units like Thermo King puts on refrigerated boxes, or, when there are events like the fair or car shows or all those kinds of things, they lease those trailers and take them up to events so that the vendors have a place to put their food. Hence,
Right.
the University of Tennessee
Yes.
or Carson Newman or whoever the vendor may be. I don't know who they have
Right.
contracts with,
Sure.
but so and they run, and it's a big refrigerator. Well,
Sure.
you think about that. You think, oh, well, that's good. Yeah, we got to keep that stuff cold. Well, what about in the wintertime when it's freezing cold and they're coming through Michigan?
Right.
They got to have heat in there
Sure.
to keep everything room temperature so the fruit don't get frozen or
That's
the
right.
eggs or whatever it is they're transferring.
Yeah. Some stuff, it's important for it to be refrigerated, but not frozen.
Correct. And he said we've been using those since the 40s. And I said, really? He goes, oh yeah. Now they have self-contained units that you set outside. It's a complete unit. VEVOR, which is how I say it. I don't know if that's correct. It's VEVOR, which is much like Temu, except you get a full-size version.
Okay.
And I've got a friend who's used them quite often. And a variety of other places have these diesel heaters that are they're completely, they're the size of a couple briefcases put together.
Not too big.
And you set it outside. You run the ductwork off of it into your existing ductwork in your RV.
Okay.
And then it has a fresh air intake and has a outtake that pushes all the fumes out.
Right.
And it runs on diesel fuel. 8,000 BTUs will run for 24 hours on 1 gallon.
Yeah, that's the thing you get. Everybody knows that diesel engines are pretty fuel efficient.
Yes.
People that have driven them know that. And so that makes sense that heater would run a long time on very little fuel.
Very little fuel. And they're a couple $100.
Sure.
Now, my dilemma has been, as I've continued and we continue to talk about propane, propane is explosive.
Right.
And so the end result of that is, for me personally, everything I got's just aggravating me this morning. There are gremlins
And cats.
and cats. I don't know what he's done now. But as my trailer ages, I am not trusting of the rubber lines that feed certain things.
Okay.
So I have closed those off to make sure that we check those with soap and water to make sure we have no leaks, which if it's leaking and your sense of smell is not completely dead, you're going to smell that rotten egg smell that
Right.
they put in there.
Exactly.
Because if they didn't add it, you wouldn't smell it. It's odorless.
That's right.
Of course, around my house, it could be, with me around, it could be, you smell that?
You got a gas leak?
Yeah, gas leak? No, I just ate too many Cheez-Its.
That's right.
So the end result is that. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing people utilize these for, because here's the problem, Jay. The problem is that your plumbing lines that run through the underbelly of your travel trailer, RV, recreational vehicle, whatever it may be, run alongside your heat ducts.
Oh, okay.
So in effect, those heat ducts will put off warmth and warm the underbelly to keep your pipes from freezing to a certain point. Now, many of your upper end recreational vehicles have heated tanks, heated lines, all those kinds of things
for
Depe-
all season use.
for all season use. Correct. So, and you can purchase those and add them if you choose to. What I'm seeing people doing is people say, "Oh, well, I just throw a little space heater under there." Well, we don't do that, not unless you want to get blowed from Kodak to Thornhill.
Sure.
And a lot of people will use the clamp on, lights with the metal dish around them to,
Right.
a lot of folks do that too. But a lot of folks use these diesel heaters to warm the underbelly underneath their travel trailers with a minimum skirting around to keep them warm.
Sure.
The only negative issue that I can find, there's two negative issues. The positive is diesel is not going to explode.
Right. Right.
It has a pilot light in there. It has an ignition. If it does not ignite, it has the possibility to smoke.
Okay.
That can be an issue. So you got to be careful about that. But it ain't going to build up fumes and blow you up like propane does.
Right. Right.
How many of you have burnt your eyebrows and your arm hair and facial hair off of yourself because you had that lid closed and lit that gas grill and found out that, oh boy, we've got a little propane built up.
Yeah, those accumulated fumes.
Exactly. So, an issue there. I think I'm a fan of the diesel heater in many applications. A lot of your small Class B people that that drive vans and such,
Right.
that's a great source. Or if they're building a homemade, you're taking a
Right.
cargo trailer and building it a good source for warm heat.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Yeah, it makes sense. It's a little bit like the old Volkswagen Beetle heaters that came off the manifold, and they just
Exactly.
ducted that warm air off the manifold, and they had the way they ducted it was to try to keep the exhaust fumes off of you. Didn't always work with those old Volkswagens the way it was supposed to. So, but you're right. Getting the fumes off and just getting the heat result out of it would be a winner, I would think, because it is going to generate some heat.
It is. It's going to generate some heat, and it's what my thoughts are on these types of things is familiar yourself with it. Talk to somebody who really knows,
Right. Maybe somebody's had one for a while.
has had one for a while, or someone who is used to installing them. And there are certain things that where do it yourself is wonderful. And there are certain things where you don't want to let do it yourself become do it to yourself, as you say on our promos for me,
Right. Right.
because that works out to be a bad day.
Right.
So hence the reason that we think about that. Other than that, I talked a little bit last week about taking the 5-gallon buckets and making the Quikrete bucket
Yeah, the levelers.
levelers. Still thinking about that, but also have begun to think about short trips where a tent attached to the back of the hatchback of the SUV
Right.
for an overnight stay or a couple overnights, an hour or two away.
Sure.
But then after yesterday's dust storm,
Uh-huh.
I decided that I didn't like that idea. Plus, I'm just going to be honest with you. Wherever I'm at, I'm going to be protected
Sure.
because I am a man of a certain age and with not so good mobility. I'm going to have with me a equalizer.
Ah.
Now, I myself prefer a non-lethal equalizer
Okay.
because it's legal in every state. and it will cause you to have a very bad day. 50 caliber steel balls, rubber coated, followed by military grade pepper balls.
Yeah, it's a bad day.
At 20, 30 feet, because I don't want something I got to get too close to somebody with. If I feel threatened, I want to be able to handle that at a distance.
Beyond arm's reach.
Beyond arm's reach. So if I thump you in the head a couple times with 250 caliber steel balls at close to 400 feet per second, and then hit you with a couple pepper sprays, we gonna be we done.
Yeah, you're finished your day with Rick there.
Yeah, we're finished. I'm moving on.
There you go.
Not real fast, but I'm moving on.
There you go. We did a promo one time where we got to play paintball, and somebody kind of shot me with a paintball at semi-point blank range. Where inside the range they said you should shoot somebody, and it was unpleasant.
Very unpleasant, especially when those people at the paintball that you're fighting have figured out that if they put those paintballs in the freezer.
Don't give people those kind of ideas, Rick.
I've just heard. I don't know that people would actually do that, Jay, but I've just heard that, a paintball in the freezer, it gives an extra added bit of attention getting.
I guess so. Ouch.
Yeah, buddy. Hence the reason I don't play paintball.
I don't blame you.
When our kids were growing up, we lived on a farm, and I was building then, and so I took a mini Traco, and I took about a 8-9 acre section of the farm, and I dug them foxholes.
Nice.
Piled the dirt up all around, about 4 foot deep,
Sure.
where it was safe, made them
Perfect.
big enough where it wouldn't collapse on them, nothing like that. And there was many a paintball war
Man, I bet.
at the Rick Allen Merrill family homestead. And then my
recreational facility.
And then my son-in-law, along with my sons and my older sons and my younger sons, figured out that you can put Roman candles on drones.
Them go good.
They go good and chase each other around until they got Mama's ocean kayak and tied it to the back of the truck.
Boys will be boys.
And went hayfield sledding, bobsledding.
See, that sounds like worth a try to me, Rick. I'm sorry, it does.
Oh, I've got the video. I'll have to send you one.
Bet you do. I bet you do.
One of them's got a motorcycle helmet on. The other one's in the back of the kayak with a football helmet on.
That's what we had.
Yeah. And I asked my wife, I said, did they ask you if they could use your kayak? She said, what do you think?
Yeah, right.
But they did have fun.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing dangerous there.
No, of course not. Of course
It all
not.
started with, watch this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I have no room to talk. I'm lucky to be alive.
Me too, brother. And what fun they had.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't trade a minute of any of it.
Oh, I'm telling you. So just a few tips about that kind of stuff. Interesting to me. I wanted to throw this out there. I was talking to my neighbor yesterday who is, as I said, is selling his travel trailer to upgrade to a larger travel trailer because he's a developer and he's developing in this part of the world. Marfa, Marathon, Alpine, Terlingua, Fort Davis, Fort Stockton, there's town after town after town, each of them very different.
Right.
But as I said, in Terlingua, this is the area that is having the most building because the land is so cheap.
Right.
Now it's desert with sagebrush and cactus and tumbleweed, But you can buy 20 acres for 15,000.
There you go.
Ain't gonna find that in Kodak
No.
or anywhere
You
else.
won't find an acre. You won't have a hard time finding an acre for that around here.
Yeah, every bit of it. But I was talking with him about that, and he said, "Yeah, I'm going to do that. They're coming to get my trailer and clean it up, and I'm selling it. And I'm buying another one, so I'll be your neighbor again shortly." And I said, well, "Good."
Right.
But I was asking him, and I said, "So you're a developer?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm a developer." He said, "The biggest problem is," he said, "I'm a civil engineer."
Right.
And I said, "God bless civil engineers, because we need them. They know how
Right.
to figure stuff out."
That's exactly right.
We had a situation one time where my plumber called me and he said, "We got a problem." I said, "What is it?" And he was at one of the local politicians' homes, someone you would know, who's not in politics now, but was at that time.
Okay.
And his swimming pool was losing, big in-ground pool. Working for the people,
Of course.
was losing water, and it was losing and going down below the entrance to the skimmer basket,
Mm.
and it was becoming a problem.
Yeah. Quite a bit of water going all the time, sounds like.
I'm watching Bandit here, and there's a stink bug going across the window, which I have yet to put their shelf in, which is my project for today, because I have to rip it to 14. I've got a piece of 2-foot plywood that I've got to rip in 12-inch sections to put down so they can get all the way over to the window. And that
Right.
stink bug is crawling across the inside of that window just so slow,
Driving that cat crazy.
driving him out of his mind. He's trying to decide, do I make the jump?
Right.
And if he does, he's going to fall about 3 feet because there's nothing to catch him.
Right.
And he's losing his mind. Oh, he just fell.
He found out how far he could fly, didn't he?
He did. That didn't work out for him. It's hilarious. I love watching them.
Lesson learned.
Anyway, my plumber called me, and he said, "Do you know anybody that can figure a mathematical problem for me?" I said, "Yeah, it ain't me."
Right.
I said, "What's your problem?" He said, "Here's the deal." He said, "We have a swimming pool. That swimming pool," and this is in August, July or August, that
Right.
swimming pool is losing water. We can't find a leak, but we need the following question answered. We need to know how much water that swimming pool should lose through evaporation daily
On a hot day.
on a hot day. Then that will tell us how much water we're losing through a leak,
Right.
which in turn will help us locate where to look based on the size of the pipes at the pool.
Okay. I can see the logic in what they're saying. Anyway, I couldn't do the math, but I can see the logic in
And
what
I
they're
said, "Hold on a minute, let me comfort you in."
talking. Right.
So I called my buddy, who's retired now, Steve, who's a civil engineer and / builder and a really nice guy. I said, "Hey, brother,
Right.
you got to say?" He said, "Sure." I said, "I got a problem." He said, "Lay it on me." I said, "I've got Richard the plumber on here with me." He said, "All right, hey, Richard." So he explained to him what the problem was. He said, "Okay." He said, "I need to know the following information. What is the width and length of the pool?
Right.
What is the depth of the pool?
Right.
What is the depth of the water when the pool is full? What is the depth of the water when you check it the next day, as it is now, because it's leaked now?" And then he asked me about several other questions. He said, "Can you hold a minute?" We said, "Yeah." I carry that ad machine. Back then we had ad machines. I hear that thing rolling, he's hitting total, come back and said, "Okay, if the average temperature is this
Right.
in a 24-hour period, with 12 hours of that, or however many hours of daylight was on that particular day, with this temperature, this humidity, this starting mark, that ending mark, with that body of volume of water, it should lose this much water through evaporation.
Right.
I was amazed. How smart do you have to be able to know what calculations to make to understand that?
Way smarter than this old boy.
And
like
me
I say,
too.
I get the logic of how it would work, but I have no clue about the math. I know that evaporation would account for some of that, and it's smart for the plumber to say, hey, let's figure that much out. That'll tell us more about our leak. That all makes sense to me. I couldn't do the math, though.
I couldn't either. So he told him, he said, okay. That tells me so then my plumber said, okay. So that means that I'm losing this much water in this many hours. So I have a leak this size.
Right.
So then he took the machines that he had and went to the most probable sources, pipe
Sure, it's gotta be
sources.
here, or here, right?
Exactly. And found it within an hour and fixed it.
There you go. Work smarter, not harder.
Smarter, not harder. So God bless them that can. But
Amen.
before we get to the end of the hour here, which we're right on top of it, or the 2 hours, what this civil engineer said to me was, he said, God did not gift me with the ability to be a contractor. He had gifted me with the ability to develop. He said, if there were people, and our biggest problem here is people who do not have the skills to construct what we're asking them to construct. And the few crews that are here that do have the skills get stolen to the next highest bidder.
Sure.
He said, if someone had the money to bring crews from wherever and keep them on salary, he could retire as a millionaire in 1 year.
Wow.
Now, my point with that is, as we close it up here, and I'm sorry I'm running just maybe a minute long. Friends, if you've got a girl or a boy in your world that wants to use their hands, get them in technical school, get them in a journeyman program,
Right.
get them somewhere where they can learn. Where else could you retire a millionaire in a year
Right. The right skill set.
with the right skill set? That's the word of the day for Rick's House Radio Show. What's coming up next, Jay?
We've got a little Let's Talk Real Estate on the way, just moments away, and then Law Talk at the top of the 10 o'clock hour.
Outstanding, wonderful job as always. You know, grab them babies, love them if they'll let you. Tell somebody that they did something nice for you. Tell them you love them. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. We'll be back with sound and video for the book face next week. And we'll see if the cat's still living. Nah, just kidding. Don't send me letters. Don't send me letters. God bless you. Thanks for listening to us on Mix 105.5, Talk 106.3. Have an awesome day, y'all. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Caleb Pratt from Pratt Mechanical, for taking care of Brother Jay and getting heat
Amen.
back in his building.
We appreciate it.
All right, good stuff. Have a good day, my brother. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for Let's Talk Real Estate.
Thank you, Rick. You're out.
All right. Yeah, he told me that, and I thought to myself, man, if I was a little younger
Yeah.
and could get around a little better,
Good to know.
I'd have 2 crews here in a month. I mean, that's the demand that we had, Jay.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It is. And, you know, it's just, I mean, it just blows my mind. But
I know it.
I'm past my prime. My son that could have done that went on to heaven. And it just blew my mind. And he's dead serious. Dead serious. Got and has developed and has done is he I mean he ain't hurting to do nothing. I mean he's
Right.
he's driving a brand new Charger.
And you can tell when you're talking to somebody and they're just speaking their truth to you. They're not trying to sell you something or sell you a
Exactly.
line about something. They're just telling you how it is.
I had to pull it out of him.
Right.
He wasn't just telling me I'll be a millionaire. After we talked a little bit, he saw it was okay. We talked back and
Right.
forth, and I told him
Right.
what I did, and he told me. He said, he said, brother, I'm telling you. He said, I've invested heavily here and I'm going to be here. He said, but man, if I had some crews and somebody knew how to run them crews, he said, that person
Yeah.
could be a millionaire in a year.
My good.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Well, I hope your day continues forward. We are, there's going to be something Mexican in my future shortly.
Get on it. I'm going to get ready for some lawyers over here, I believe.
All right, my brother. I appreciate you.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, brother.
You bet. Take care, Rick.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.